Damn right. It's a busy Tuesday, and we're going to smash some shows together again on Orange Bloods Live. We got the Modcast logo up. We'll get some House Divided in there as well. I'm Chad Hastings, and I was able to get the Modcast Minds to join me today at noon. We got Anwar Richardson. We got Alex Dunlap. We've got Jason Sukamel. Our man Jeff Ketchum is dealing with some family stuff when they're sick in the house. You got to take care of them sometimes. So we'll try to take care of all of you and entertain you and inform you with portal stuff, and Ketch is taking care of the family. So we hope everybody gets well in the Ketchum household very, very soon. Gentlemen, I appreciate the time. Shout out to Daily and Black to start us off. They sponsor the Modcast each and every Tuesday when these guys get together, normally with Ketch. And right now in college football land, there's a lot of portal stuff going on. The portal is open. It will close on the 28th. So I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of dig into some of this stuff. Let me start with all three of you. Have any of the three of you heard anything you'd actually believe in terms of Ryan Williams being in the portal? Have you heard a thing that makes you think it's actually true?
Just all the buzz, the only thing is people keep talking about it.
Okay. Here's my theory.
Did he tweet I don't know. Go ahead, Chad. Did he tweet
Here's my theory. This is my theory, Jason. Okay, when you Google Ryan Williams' name, there's a story from Athlon Sports that pops up, and it's entitled Alabama 5-star true freshman plans to enter transfer portal. The only issue with that is when you click on the story, that's a story about Caleb Odom.
Who is in the portal.
Correct. So I think somebody got their stars crossed here, because there's also stories out there about Ryan Williams being very supportive and welcoming of Keelan Russell, the quarterback from Duncanville that's going to Bama. And also, Anwar, here's evidence that's not evidence. Apparently, there's a tattoo on Ryan Williams' body with the Alabama A on it. And that sounds pretty serious to me. So
Ruben Owens had a Louisville tattoo on his body after he committed. So I'm not quite sure it's that serious.
That is a fair counterpoint. I would counter the counter by saying the Louisville L and the Alabama A, a little bit different. I
think he had the Louisville area code or something, didn't he?
He put like the area code. Like, it was a pretty extensive tattoo, okay. Chad. It wasn't just an L. It was a pretty massive thing. So I would.
Tattoo artists can do cover-ups no problem nowadays, man. They're good at that stuff. So
yeah. Okay. All right. So anyway, as of right now, as of the fact when we're sitting here, I don't think there's anything substantial behind that idea of Ryan Williams being in the portal. But Alabama receiver Caleb Odom, big 6'5" receiver out of Georgia, is going to be in the portal. I believe he is already in. At this moment. So
and hold on, just so I can just give you a good idea. That's how big his tattoo was. To show that he was still dedicated to Louisville.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
So,
you had that thing ready to roll, brother.
He was ready. I like that.
Yeah, I just did it. Google's your friend. So.
That is good. So, and for the record, it's a big. I don't know if Ryan Williams' middle name is indeed an A letter, but it's R-A-W. Maybe he just likes the word raw. But it was R-A-W, and the A is the Alabama A, and it looks like it's a big, like a calf tat or whatever it is. So, not sure how real that one is, but Ryan Williams, the thought has been that he would stay at Bama. And
hey, did you hear that he was 17 years old and he's one of the youngest players? I don't know if you knew that he was 17 years old.
Anwar, I'm glad you said it. The story that I saw about the tattoo said Ryan Williams is now the youngest player to get a tattoo with NIL money. And he's going to be
something this week that said Ryan Williams is the youngest player not to make the college football playoffs. So there's a lot of Ryan Williams that's out there. But I mean, like, from a realistic standpoint, I don't even know why he would leave at this point. You know, what's really has changed since, he's committed. His coach is there, his quarterback's probably going to come back. I mean, all things are kind of equal. So, and he's played a lot, so he's getting paid. So I don't know. I wasn't even sure what would be the genesis of it, unless it's just a money grab.
Yeah.
Is Milroe expected to come back?
I mean, I've seen conflict. I've seen different things as relates to him.
The only reason I could see him leaving is A, like you said, money grab, right? Just see what your value is. B, maybe go to better quarterback play in terms of more of a passing offense. Like play with someone like Arch Manning or, some other hotshot quarterback, as opposed to playing, Milrose can be a great quarterback, but he's not always a dynamic passer.
What do you guys think about Russell as a dynamic college player? Like, is the guy that's coming in, A, can he be a dynamic college player, and B, is it immediate? I mean, is he walking right in there as a, stud freshman and going to light it up with Ryan Williams?
I don't know who else they have on their roster behind Milroe, honestly, but I mean, he's a really, really good player. But a true freshman coming in starting day one, if Milroe leaves, that's not going to be smooth sailing. There's going to be some bumpy road there, So
yeah, we'll definitely talk about a couple of receivers that are in the portal. Also, our man Jay Lee threw us our first super chat, $2. Thank you, Jay. Every bit helps. Best tight end prospect to ever play college football is in the portal. I double checked, and he's referring to Eric Gilbert.
Brock Bowers?
Yeah, right. He was referring to Eric Gilbert, who apparently is has gone into the portal. I did not realize that. But Jay, thank you for that info. Also, we got this super chat from James $4.99. I need positivity. Give me 3 bankable reasons Texas makes it to the semis. I guess two of them.
Clemson, Arizona State.
In defense.
You beat me by 1 second, Alex.
Schedule, defense. What's the third one? Yeah,
getting healthy.
There you go.
Two weeks to get healthy.
I mean, really, I think, Anwar, all you need are the 2 teams in the defense, right? The Texas defense and the 2 teams they're going to play on their way to the semis. I don't need any more than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the end of the day, the defense does good. This defense does really good against dual threat guys. So, which Cade is, and so they go ahead and make him one dimensional. Now, to be fair to them, Cade will be the best quarterback that Texas has faced this year. Like, there's not, if you had to put your top 3 list on there, most of those guys are just guys. Like, the majority of them were pretty average, had some backups that were in there. He'll be their biggest challenge thus far. I think Texas will be fine with it, but it won't be a pushover.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. James, thank you for the super chat. But I think there certainly are some reasons to think they can get there. The way this thing's set up for Texas and for Penn State, there's certainly a path to the semis that's pretty easy to see. All right, again, the portal opened on the 8th or 9th, depending on how you look at the calendar, and it closes on the 28th. So we're talking some portal stuff today. And to celebrate, our man, Blake, the super producer, has given us an updated portal combat intro, and we love it. Here we go. Hold on to your speakers in case it's loud. Was that just super loud for me, or was that everybody else too?
All right.
Whoa. Man, was it good? All right. All right. Thank you, Blake. We appreciate it. Yeah. Some of the names and images that you've seen there, a little Jackson Arnold, little Wigman, little Jonte Cook, in terms of the portal. But gentlemen, in terms of the Texas part of this portal, let's talk about a guy that is going into the portal, Eric Singleton out of Georgia Tech. The receiver has announced he's going to the portal. I know Ketch mentioned him in kind of a little portal update in the last day or so. Honorable mention, all ACC. Alex, is this a guy that's on your radar at all? I heard the name and had to kind of look up the stats. I haven't watched a ton of Georgia Tech. Is this a guy that you were aware of when you saw him in the portal?
Well, I mean, you'd heard of him, but no, he wasn't a guy that it wasn't any guy that I thought was going to. I didn't think he was going to be the dude they're talking about $1.5 to $2 million deal for. It's like in every year, it just keeps going up. I don't know, man. I was like, are all these guys going to be $2 million that are like, is Concepcion going to be $2 million? Like, is that now the going price? Like you saw that, I couldn't believe it earlier, man. I saw that, but I don't have anything to say about Singleton. I haven't watched him enough to really know. I don't watch much Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
But the thing, I do watch SEC, and I did see the thing earlier whenever they tweeted out the report about the freshman edge Dylan Stewart, saying that there was some reporter that said that he'd agreed to a new 1-year deal with South Carolina to come back for next season. And I was like, I texted it to Cody. I'm like, well, that feels weird to hear. That's a weird. I've never heard that. That somebody is just like, I thought you signed with the school and like you just maybe behind the scenes you work out your NIL stuff, or you go to coach, you say, hey, I kind of overperformed it. Can we get a little extra cash? But I've never heard of anybody say he's agreed to come back for like a 1-year deal. It's just,
I don't want to get technical, fellas. Like, that sounds like you're incentivizing, aren't you? Like, I know we're not supposed to incentivize, but if you say you've worked out a new deal, Anwar, with a school, we've incentivized there, haven't we? You're telling me what happens if I come back to your school.
It's odd choice of reporting. It's not necessary. It's they're using a professional term, obviously, for a college athlete. So now most of these things are year by year. So it's not necessarily 100% just crazy. It's not necessarily you always get like a 4-year deal or something to that effect. Like, it's not like that. It's usually renewable after a year, and usually if you perform well enough, then you get a more in the next deal. So that kind of holds true. But the phrasing is definitely of an NFL phrasing, though. That's for sure.
Real quick, guys, a little breaking news from the Rivals transfer portal Twitter account. Texas D-line whatever, Savea, is entering the transfer portal per his sports agency, has 1 season of eligibility remaining. That's a little surprising, right?
No.
I didn't even know he had a year of eligibility.
He doesn't play.
Yeah, but he might next. I mean, the door's wide open next year. But
not anymore. He's in the portal.
Well,
I think it's interesting. Jason, you bring up an interesting point about what we've watched in the portal. Like, one of the guys everybody thought was good, was going to step up with an opportunity last year was Jonte Cook. And then all of a sudden the portal sort of answered this question about what Texas thought of Cook and maybe his opportunity. And then we saw what happened after that. I'm wondering, is Savea kind of the same type of deal where in theory, what Jason's saying is true, but in the sort of truth of football, Tia knows what's about to happen. Tia knows that they're about to bring in a bunch of portal guys before they say, Tia, it's your chance to step up. Right?
He just hadn't been good. Like, I just think it was one of these things where it might have been a little bit of him getting processed too. I mean, here's the thing. Like, it's like Anwar said, if it is, the whole Dylan Stewart thing, if it is if it's a situation, it's like I was texting this with Cody earlier. It's like, if they start doing this where it's just like out in the open and it's an open deal where people are reporting so-and-so signs to a new deal, it's $1.5 million for the 2025 season, et cetera. Isn't it going to have to get to the point where coaches can, it's kind of is, where it's like you can, if you're on the coaching staff, you can kind of, cut people's deals, or, you know what I mean? You can, I don't know if you can, I don't know. And you probably know better than me, Chad, or maybe Anwar, but I don't know. Like, can coaches now in college football cut players?
You can always not renew a scholarship. Yeah. So do you mean like that?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. But hasn't that kind of been at least always been frowned upon in the past?
Yeah. The thing is, and this is what the thing we don't know about Savea at this moment, but Sark has been meeting with guys this week. And so, he's sitting down with people and letting people know, hey, we want you back, or nudging you out. So it may not be as simplistic as, well, he read the tea leaves. Like, the tea leaves could have been read for him as far as, hey, dude, you're probably not going to play here much anyway. So, and the thing about Texas that I've said, and I'll say it again, if they want a guy, the guy usually doesn't leave. But there's not a guy from the Texas that enters the transfer portal that Texas is like, we tried and fought hard to keep this guy on campus, and he just left. We couldn't convince him. When it has happened, when it's been Xavier Worthy, whether it's been Jahdae Barron, when it's been who was the guy that went in for like Ron Davis, like went in for like 5 minutes, right? And then he came right back out, right? It's when they want a guy, they will keep him. So if the guy goes, it's likely that Texas has told him, no, it's okay. You're better off elsewhere.
Sure. But what about not the inverse, but what about just a variation of that where it's like what about say like, and not to say anything bad, but let's like take like Max Merrill. I would imagine that every year he has the conversation with Sark where he's like, hey, man, we're going to kind of recruit over you here. You know, if you want to go play elsewhere, you can. And he's just like, no, man, I'm perfectly good with that. I'm good getting my degree here. Like, I don't think at that point, I don't think it's okay to just cut a guy, right? You can't just cut him.
No, I mean, it's each case is different, right? So, right. You don't cut every guy that you're not going to play. Uh-huh. So in Max's case, you just let him do what he does. But other guys like who are, 1 year guys or, really young in the system, the start they routinely, they sit down with guys and tell them you can go. Like you can go. It's best for you to go. They'll tell, there've been times like, hey, we'll help you find a soft landing spot. I've known that has occurred before as well. So, they'll have to clear room. They're bringing in guys, obviously from this year's class. Then you're going to bring in transfer portal guys. Like you have to have those tough conversations.
You know what you do, Alex, with those guys that won't leave? You tell them, oh, you need to have a surgery and we're putting you on medical scholarship. So they don't
put you make them get a fake surgery. God,
that's hard. But I always do wonder, like Almar, like you're saying, like, how do those conversations go? Is Sark just direct, like, dude, you're not going to play here, you're wasting a spot, or do you got to soften it up a little bit, right? Like, how do you be positive and make those guys feel good about it as they're leaving the office?
Hey, man, we appreciate you. Thanks for everything that you did. Look, you're not going to play here. Just want to be honest with you. If you have a goal, and you want to play in the NFL, it's not going to happen here. I'm just telling you, you're not going to hit the field. Yeah. I've talked to people who've received the speech.
You build them up like they still have a shot. If you go somewhere else, you can still shine. Maybe
but you're not going to get anything here. Your best bet is to go in the portal, and I have enough connections at different schools. Like we can help you find a place that you're going to go that you can play, but it's just not going to work for you here.
Yeah. Jason, it's just like when you break up with the girl and you say, I am so jealous of the guy that gets to date you. And then you just get in your car and drive away. It's basically how it's going to work. Jay, we see that super chat. We will get to it. Before we do that, I want to thank one of our great partners, and I want to do it while we solve a problem for one of the guys you see right now. See, Jason Sukumel is a pro football fan as well as a college football fan. And he did the math and he looked at the board and he realized, wait a minute, my Steelers are playing at the exact same time that the Longhorns are playing Clemson. Well, guess what? We've got a solution for that. TCH Social Austin. Do you know how I know it will work? Because Jason Sukumel is in this picture. This is the shot of the watch party for Texas and Georgia. Jason Sukumel's in that picture. ATX Bates is in there. Barb's 10. Blake, the super producer.
I think I see Blake. Yeah.
Blake. My wife is in that picture. My man Austin, who came out with his family, is in the picture. What up, Austin? This is the place because this screen, and the screen is in the lower right. I made it smaller, but trust me, it's huge. Each of those screens, the individual screens, is 55 inches. And you've got the 16x1 in the middle, and you've got 4 4x1s on the outside. Texans fans, you're playing at noon that day. come on out and see us at TCH Social Austin. I put an order of the bad beat bacon right there on the table for you. It'll be waiting on you on December 20. Well, not waiting on you because we'll eat it if it's sitting there. But you order one when you get there on the 21st. TCH Social Austin, 183 and Anderson Mill. And that's where we'll do our part of the post-game show from. Obviously, Anwar will be at DKR. I was about to say in Atlanta or somewhere else. Wait a minute. No, it's a home game. He'll be right there at DKR. As he always is, checking in on
Jason he demanded a seat in the center by himself. Is that how I'm reading that?
No,
looking at that
Dad
picture?
sits beside me, but he got up to take the picture. Then actually my daughter came up and joined us too. So yeah,
they're nice enough, Anwar, to kind of reserve those center seats for the OB folks.
I keep everybody arm's length away from me. I got to have my own little space here. Yeah.
That's right. We have a big speech right at the beginning. Mr. Sukamel is not to be bothered under any circumstances.
No eye contact. Yeah.
That's right. Do not look directly at the Sukamel.
No pictures, no nothing like that.
That's correct. That's correct. We got to make sure that we take care of all of that. All right, Jay, we appreciate your super chat and your tight end interest. $2. What is each of y'all's take on Gilbert? Back to the Eric Gilbert going into the portal. Gilbert was at Georgia at one point.
He's in Nebraska,
right?
Was it? He's
Nebraska?
a 5-star coming out.
What did he do? This guy hasn't done anything in college. I don't know what
did you do this last year? I thought he had like nothing. 300 yards or something.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah. No, I don't even think Alex. Not even that much. He's at.
From what I remember,
in Nebraska, he's got LSU and Georgia. So he's been at 3 different locations. He's never done anything.
I had Georgia right. And then as we were talking about it, LSU flashed in my head. I remember him being a pretty big time talent. Talent-wise, I would say take a look, but do you get freaked out by a guy that's been to 3 different schools?
Yeah. Yes, of course.
Right? Yes. And, how many times have we seen this? Oh, he's a former 5-star. Like it's literally like that person who graduates from high school and comes back every year wearing his Letterman jacket. Like you can only hold on to that stuff for so long. And we've seen how many former 5-stars that are supposed to be something. And, sometimes the rankings are wrong, but there's a common denominator in every equation. It's Gilbert. So if you're Texas, that's not what you need. And if you're Texas, Texas messed around with one of these guys, and they found out pretty quickly that this probably wasn't the best deal.
He's had off-field stuff too, man.
Yeah, arrested twice in 2023, including a smash and grab burglary. So Jay's being sarcastic, or what are we doing here?
Okay, so before we leave the tight end discussion, though, fellas, with Gunnar Helm, we would assume Gunnar Helm, I guess.
He
has to go, right? Yeah, I mean, even if he wanted to come back. But, I mean, why would you? With what he's doing, he's going to get NFL attention. So when you guys think about replacing Gunnar Helm, as tough as that is to do you see it on the roster, or do you feel like it needs to be the portal? Or is it both?
I think that, Texas, Amari Niblack's coming back. I think that I think you look at him as your starter next year, and you just hope that something can pop with Jordan Washington. I think is an important thing to keep in mind. That we were super hyped about that guy coming out of the spring game. He got a little bit banged up in that spring game, but he had a really good game. You still have guys like, I'm not sure about Will Randall. He's been hurt the whole time he's been at Texas, and he was hurt wasn't he hurt coming in, Jason, the package guy with Arch?
Yes. He got hurt his senior year of high school.
He's been hurt. Anwar, have you ever seen him at practice? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I've seen Will Randall out there too much. And then Spencer Shannon, at least we've seen in practice, and we've seen him actually getting games sporadically. I don't have the exact snap counts pulled up right now. I could probably get that up.
Well, and maybe in terms of a young guy, fellas, what about Michael Terry? I mean, can Michael Terry come in and I know some think of him as it's tight end, flex receiver, whatever. Jason, as you jump back in, Michael Terry, is he good enough soon enough that you'd think, we don't need a portal. We'll go with what we've got.
Terry's awesome, dude.
He's awesome, but he's more of a situational, not a true tight end. He's not Gunnar Helm. He's a flex tight end who can stretch the field, and you can line him up in the backfield. You can put him out wide. You can do a little put anything you want with him, really. Nick Townsend's more of your traditional tight end. Nick, he'll tell you, hey, I don't mind doing the dirty stuff and playing in line. He still likes to catch passes and stuff, but these are true freshmen, and Nick's not even enrolling early. He's not enrolling until the summer. So, you got Spencer Shannon still hanging around out there, who's decent player coming out of high school, just hadn't found his niche. So, I'm sure you guys mentioned Nyblack, or maybe when I was off. I mean, I don't know what you get out of Nyblack, honestly. So, to your point before I hopped off, I do think they need to get a tight end out of the portal, Chad.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't. There's not enough proven commodities, I think, on the roster at this moment. And Texas is playing at such a high level that's not a position that you want to do any guesswork in. Nyblack's a third string guy. You hear more about Jordan Washington than you do about anybody else who's kind of from a backup role as far as potential. But Sark seems to like to have guys who check the boxes at starters at his positions. He doesn't love to take too many risks, and so for that position, as important as that is for his offense, I definitely think so. And then you look at his history, whether you took Nyblack last year, a couple of years ago, they took Jaleel Billingsley. They're not afraid to go after tight ends to find someone who they think may be proven. Now, neither one of those guys have worked out, but nonetheless, it still doesn't hurt to keep going.
And Jay, as you're doing your search, maybe a guy that doesn't have robberies on the list. Just
look at the Purdue guy. Look at the Purdue guy. The Purdue guy. Didn't that guy get in the portal? He's actually been good.
I would have to double check.
I forgot his name.
There's so many guys going in the portal; it's hard to keep up. I thought Purdue had a offensive lineman. Did they have a tight end in the portal too?
Yeah,
I think they had a tight end. Iowa had a tight end. A couple tight end. The Purdue one was the one that stuck.
Max Clare, Purdue tight end Max Clare is in the portal.
There you go. That might be a name to keep an eye on, and it's just incredible. I saw I think it was Max Olson of ESPN, 750 guys on Monday, just Monday. 700.
Max has been for a busy time since he's the transfer portal guy now.
Oh my God! I was about to say, Alex, I've seen Max Olson's face today more than my wife because I just keep clicking on that same page looking for updates and everything. It's incredible. So we'll get the couple of chats that have come in. If you want to throw us a super chat, it'll go right to the top of the list. Jason, I had a question for you, and I'll let everybody discuss it. But I wanted to start with you. I don't know if you've heard anything on this topic. I'm thinking about portal last night. I know you and I have discussed it a little bit, but as Texas goes into this, do you think they're thinking about 85 or do you think they're thinking about 105? Because it's not official yet, and it won't be official one way or the other till like April, I think. But I saw Catch updating the scholarship board at 80, I believe is the number as we sit here talking. Well, I guess if Sauve is out, maybe it's 79 as we're sitting here talking. So how do you think Sark is going to go after this thinking of 85, or is it more thinking of 105? And I'll get everybody's thought on it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 85, right? He made a comment in one of the press conferences during the season. It had to be like a Monday or Thursday midweek thing. But he said, hey, until they're still operating under the 85 assumption, until it becomes official. I think it was Kirby Smart who then said, hey, they're operating under the 105. And then I believe then the SEC kind of said, no, you need to operate under the 85. So, I think Texas is still operating under the 85. So they're at, would you say 79 right now?
I guess it was 80 when I checked this morning. And then if you're telling me that Sauve happened while we were talking, I guess that would get it to 79.
And there'll be more. So, I mean, that'll get down to whatever, 75, 74. So that gives them, it still gives them 10 portal additions or more if they want. So. Yeah.
Anwar, would you agree with that? Is that they're still going off of 85?
I'm going to go off of 85, but I think Sark has kind of operated on. It doesn't have to be 85 when January rolls around. Like they've been over that number going into January just about every year, and then once you get past spring and then you get into the summer, that's when they start getting it down and getting that number down. So. I don't necessarily. I don't add in portal guys. They'll be over the number, and then at some point, then you'll have more hard conversations after the spring, and guys will leave. But yeah, Sark's been yeah, he's made it clear like he's operating under 85 for sure. But like I said, when January rolls around, if you see him at 92, like don't be surprised.
Right. Okay. But still thinking of that 85 number. Alex, anything
His,
to add
his,
to
his
that?
reasoning was he didn't want to do 105, and then for some reason, if something happens, then now all of a sudden you got to take away scholarships, or you got to tell guys to leave or something like that. So he wanted this to take. His reasoning was he wanted to take a more cautious approach, so he doesn't have to do something detrimental to a player.
I was just going to say the same thing. I mean, Sark has talked about it, and it's exactly what Anwar just said. And you've heard people like, I mean, Heupel on the SEC media call in one of the last weeks coming into it on the media call, I think on the 20th of November, just saying that, you know, this coaches are pretty tilted by this whole thing. Like, they're just like, man, they need to give us guidance one way or the other, because it's like you don't want to do anything. For one, what does this mean with our walk-ons? What does it mean with the way that we're going to practice, with the way we're going to hold practices? How are we going to run scout team? All this, right? Like, all that is still up in the air. And he just said also, it's the same thing Sark says. These guys don't want to overpromise to these guys, and then you know, and then all of a sudden be told, hey, we're not moving it to 105. All of a sudden, you got to go through, you know, cut 20 dudes, and it's none of it's really fair. So I think more than anything, they just need to get clarity on it. I think the way that Sark is doing it, I think the way that the coaches who are doing it the way where they're just kind of erring on the side of 85 is the more, you know, technically honorable way to do it. But who knows? I mean, they're going to be people that they just don't care, and you know, like,
and that's going to suck if we start hearing stories about like 20 guys at a school that get the, you know, coach needs to see you bring your playbook
at a point in time where there might not be any kind of window to transfer, or, you know, who knows
there
how
is
that will work.
Someone asked in the chat, there is the spring transfer. It's like 9 days is all, though it's a small window in April.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a spring transfer window still too.
That's they really push you out the door.
Right? You went to spring ball and you suck. See ya.
Is that really 9 days now, Jason? I thought it was like 15 days.
No, it's you know, I'll have to check that, but I think it's like 9 or 10 days is all. They shortened that one. They kept the same length for the December one.
Okay.
Moved the time, but they shortened the spring one. Yeah.
Man, got to keep up with all of it. They are
changing. Honestly, it's tough, dude, because things change every 6 months. Something's changing. So
every cycle, it's not even every full year. You're right. Every couple of months, it feels like something else changes on dates and everything. We did get a $4.99 super chat in from Jamari. Oh, Jamari's looking for the info. You don't have to say the names, but are there game-changing players that haven't entered the portal yet that you are hearing Texas may be linked to? Look at Jamari.
I'll say this. I mean,
yeah.
Oh yeah, there isn't anybody where you know, not necessarily, but I will say that, you know, one kind of interesting thing. I was texting with somebody last night, just kind of asking him about the Bear Alexander stuff and saying, is there any way that Texas could kind of be back interested in this? And this was a dude who told me last time before anybody. I texted, you know, Jason and Catch and on where I go, this whole Bear Alexander thing, we might want to keep an eye on. And it turned out that there was conversations there and everything. I think I remember things getting sideways with the way his agent or whatever. But I found it interesting that this guy, you know, who knew so much about it last time, this time he just doesn't know anything about it. I think that Texas might kind of be out on that. I'm not sure.
I saw it on Twitter. He mentioned 3 schools today, Alex, and Texas wasn't one of them. Bear Alexander. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Anwar, any intel down there for you? Huh? No.
I could just tell you that interior defensive line is a area of concern, and that's an area they'll address. I don't have specific names or anything like that. You start talking names, you start talking tampering, but I can just tell you that be on the lookout for that portal wise as far as activity is concerned.
Yeah.
And
I'm
looking at the Rivals rankings. There aren't, like, Jamari asked about game changers. I don't see it. Like, Micah Hudson's the number 1 player on their rankings. Barry Brown's 2, Jonte Cook's 6, Dane Key the other. Wasn't he the more productive receiver for Kentucky? He's at number 9. But, you know, none of these guys just make you think. I mean, Miller Moss, the USC quarterback, 14, Connor Wegman, 16. I don't know. I don't see any true game changers in the portal just yet to me.
Yeah, I don't quite think we've had that first what was Walter Nolan the first sort of jaw dropper in last year's group? I remember him being, now obviously I would remember that moment being an Aggie fan, but for you guys, was he the first one where you go, oh Lord, here we go? I feel like we haven't had that level of name yet in the portal. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, that was the one where I said, and I remember being on one of these shows saying like, well, we finally done it. There's finally been a defensive lineman that goes into this portal. It's actually looks like he's like not, man, people go in the portal for a reason. You know, it's not like if you're at a major Power 5 school, especially if you're in an SEC school or a Big Ten school, and you go into the portal, you're going to be it's kind of like shopping in the dented can aisle a little bit. There's going to be something. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be something, but with him, I remember thinking, well, this is one where I didn't think was really possible before. You know, one where it's like I always told Catch, I'm like, dude, you can't depend on getting impact 3 techniques in the transfer portal, because those guys go to their school. They were awesome their first year at their school. They say, I've got a good thing going here. I'm going to be gone in 3 years here. I'm getting developed here. Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they just do it. It feels like it all for these players that are good, for the Isaiah Bonds, for the Nolans, for these types of players. What you need to look for is a coaching change. You need to look for something that they can point to and say, all right, something's fundamentally changed with my circumstances here. And and that's whenever I think that's where you can find the real gems. And as you look around, you know, what are the biggest coaching losses this year? Like what schools? Like are there any schools where you can pick off elite players from? Like it's a moonshot that Alabama opens up in that way, right?
It's a great point. I hadn't thought of that in terms of you just mentioned Bond. We just talked about Nolan. Those are coaching changes. For Nolan, it's a big name coach in Jimbo, but for the Bond situation, it may be the best college coach that ever lived and a dynastic run that ended.
Yeah, last year was such a weird year, and you had such a ripple effect after Saban left, right? Because then you had guys from Washington leaving. But you look at last year's rankings. Caleb Downs, Walter Nolan, Evan Stewart, Julian Sayin was number 5, Cam Ward number 6, Will Howard number 10, Dylan Gabriel number 13, Isaiah Bond number 14. Those are big names, right? Those are guys that can really truly impact a program. We're not seeing those guys yet. Now we're
still kind of first wave though, Jason. And
it's still early, and we're only 2 days in, right? So we may see some of it. But you're right. The coaching change is kind of. I think Alex brought that up, and that's what kind of springboards things, and then it kind of has like I said, a ripple effect on some other programs sometimes.
Yeah, and I think to Alex's point, I mean, I think these programs are smart. You know, you probably, if you're your program, you tell your coach, I need your ass to sit tight until the end of December before you decide to, go to your new program, make sure the window's closed, and then we go from there. It's kind of like the old school.
Used to be wait till signing day, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, now just wait till this portal thing closes, because there's no need for you as a coach to announce anything right now that you're going to go to another program. Like there's no win.
But although if a coach leaves, you can still transfer, right?
But I don't know if does that apply to assistants? I think that's
no, not assistants.
That's head coach, right? You get 30 days. 30 days from that moment, a new 30-day window opens for those players.
Yeah, for the head coach.
Correct.
Yeah, correct. I was thinking more of assistants, but the points are the well taken. Hell, there hasn't been a ton of major head coaching change lately, outside of what Bill Belichick is now a head coach at North Carolina.
Is that official?
No, it's not. It was word that if it's Ollie's tweet, if it's the tweet from Ollie Connolly, he worded it in a way where he said like he's accepted the position. But what he did was he just said like he gave him a 400-page document and a list of complete demands and said he's not going to negotiate and you could take it or leave it. And so he said, I'll become the coach if you will agree to this. But the 13 members of the board of regents have to agree to it. The president of they're going to have to fundamentally, North Carolina is going to have to it's going to be a giant expenditure to do this. They're going to fundamentally change the way that they handle the football, and they're going to have to promise Steve Belichick to be the next head coach after Bill. And so I think with this, it's just Bill Belichick saying, I don't really want to coach in college, but if I can get my son a head coaching job in college, I can get it exactly the way I want. I think I can kick butt and run a good program, but I'm going to need it exactly the way I want it.
You think he'd be a good hire, Alex, in college?
I think it would.
No way. Can you imagine him recruiting?
He wouldn't really be recruiting. I think they would just kind of hand him the phone, and But I think that I would imagine the plan that he's put together is really sound, and it's the thing I've talked about this. I do think that to some degree in college, here's the thing: is that he's the king of learning how to and teaching others how to implement a winning culture and at the NFL level.
When Tom Brady's on his roster, he ain't shit without Tom Brady. Never has been. Cody Carpentier, great hire. I'm going to take that bet with you someday if he gets hired. Terrible hire.
If you want to tell me that that's a Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick's the greatest coach of all time.
No, I don't even know who it would be, but it's not Bill Belichick.
But you don't know who it would be? That's an idiotic thing to say.
I'd have to. Well, I pick for my Steelers one. Chuck Noll will be up there.
Okay, six trophies. I mean, come on, dude. I mean, that's
Alex. He sucked before Brady. He sucked after him. He got fired.
It's all Tom Brady. You sound just like
Tom Brady. Tom Brady goes to Tampa.
You sound just like Robert Kraft's idiot son. The thing about it is, I think that as far as being the best ever as a coach and being the best ever as far as implementing a culture, I don't think that implementing an NFL culture is the same as implementing a college culture. Because I think I know it sounds like platitudes and stuff to say that a coach needs to be a guy who, and a coach, you need to be a guy that's almost like a little bit kind of like a dad figure to these guys. You need to be teaching them things about how to be better men, how to be better dads, be better fathers, all this stuff. And whether or not that translates as far as, football and stuff like that, it translates as far as building the culture and getting these guys to look at you and look at you in a way where like they don't want to disappoint you with making sure that the culture is not the way that you want it to be and stuff. And at the NFL level, it's not about making these guys better men and making them be better one-day fathers or contributing members of society. It's about getting in here and having a transactional relationship to where you do what I say you're going to do, and you're going to develop these skills. And if you don't, you're fired and you're out of here. And it's just different, I think. So I'm not sure that, even though he's been a great culture builder at the NFL level, I'm not sure he would be at the college level. And that would be the thing that would worry me. But as far as the organizational structures that he would set up and things like that, I think it would be terrific. I think from the football side, it would be terrific. But I'm not sure it feels like too many things would really have to work, and they really would be spending a massive amount of money to get everything done that he wanted to. So yeah, I think it's probably a little bit risky.
That'd be crazy. By the way, thanks to Jamari for the chat to end the discussion. Yes, Jamari, that is the correct answer. Well done. That's exactly. You are exactly right.
I mean, you can always go find your next Deion Sanders and go about it that way as well.
As a college coach, I'd prefer that, honestly, over Belichick. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying there's two ways. Like I'm not just arguing against Alex or for him. I'm just saying there's other way is to say, like, all right, is there somebody who's young and not young but dynamic like that could make our university a boatload of money? We could do it on the cheap and feel pretty good about it and not be tied to generations. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. Fascinated that he would even consider it, but if you're doing it for your son, I totally get it.
Yeah. Brian with a $1.99 super chat. Tom, Gronk, and Edelman all said hell no. All right, there you go. Okay, sure.
The hard part, I think this real quick. I think the hard part for a guy like Belichick for the transition portion will be he goes from a culture where coaches have a lot of say, a lot of power. but these players all have the power now through NIL, through transfer portal. There's a lot of butt kissing that coaches have to do that you don't have to do in the NFL. Like a lot of times you just tell a guy to go kick rocks. So because you see guys like Saban, he couldn't handle that, and then he kind of just got out of it. So that would be, I think, his only tough part is that you got to do a lot of ass kissing with a lot of players. And when a guy is so used to power that he's used to, I don't know how much he would really love that.
By the way, One More Chance has a wonderful idea for Orange Bloods Live. Can we get a separate 1 hour show of Jason and Alex talking Belichick? That would be entertaining.
I'm sure that would be popular.
We just need to call it Goat Coach.
Just have a bet that no one ever pays up on. Just do that.
a completely unfair bet that I never agreed to. Right?
Oh, that is so good. There were just. I never thought
that rabbit hole. Yeah.
I never thought Belichick's mentioning would create so much good entertainment on the show. That's fantastic. If you want to shoot us a super chat, it will go right to the top of the list. Again, the Modcast fellas jumping in today. Catch is dealing with a sick wife at home. Hope she gets better very soon. And so we got a little Modcast, little house divided, however you want to look at it. Let's see what happens if I put this up. That's not too bad, kind of. Is everybody all right? We got that one. I think that's not going to work. We can't do that one. That's probably better. Alex and I will maybe stay out of the way there. Yeah. All right. So shout out to, before we officially leave that, shout out to Daily and Black for sponsoring the Modcast each and every Tuesday. If you find yourself in a tough spot and you need serious legal representation, check out Daily and Black. It's Daily. You see the spelling there, DALY. dailyblack.com is the website for you to check out. And also shout out to, we mentioned TCH Social earlier, Texas Card House, bringing you House Divided each and every day at 12. We certainly appreciate them. Also, let me give AV Consultations a quick shout out. It's that time of year where you might be thinking about what you need to do Christmas-wise for your family, for yourself. It's a screen you've always wanted. It's a setup you've always wanted. All the speakers set up the right way, the perfect setup. That's what they're all about. That man cave you've always wanted. 255-8678. Make sure you're watching your Longhorns, maybe your Cowboys. All right, bad example. But make sure everything, when punts are blocked and punt guys on the other side don't know what to do, and balls get fumbled, and Jerry Jones looks like that, and they show artwork at the stadium, make sure you see it crystal clear in HD. AV Consultations, avconsultations.com, or call that number, 255-8678. They've been doing it since the late 80s. They will make sure you are taken care of. All right, so we are going through portal stuff today. We did get that super chat done. Jay sent us an interesting message earlier, fellas, says we need to start making a distinction between the NIL and collective money. Kind of an interesting way to look at it, I guess. But in terms of, and we kind of already had the discussion about a school that, that was doing things certain ways. I'm sorry, I was highly distracted. Daily and Black, we're coming back to you. I didn't like the way that looked. But in terms of NIL versus collective money, Anwar, give me a thought on this, because
I have none.
we were just discussing this idea of like the sort of the agreement announcement, right? Between a school and a player. This is not just, Sark doesn't have to just talk about a Lamborghini dealership and, hey, go talk to my collective and maybe there's something there for you. In a year or so, these schools are going to be able to literally be offering money. Like the collective part of it, it's still so nebulous to me about how this is going to be discussed, how it will be offered, like all of that. I don't know what to think about it today, honestly.
Jason, maybe you have a thought. I don't really have one.
Not really. It makes my head hurt. So they're
they're
almost implementing a salary cap, right? But then you can still have separate deals beside that.
Yes. Yeah, that's like the Texas One Fund stuff. That's like where Hayden Connor goes and he gets money from the Texas One Fund, and so he every 2 months he goes and I'm sure he loves to do it, but he goes and does like events with he does ones with like ASPCA and stuff where it's like come adopt a dog, something like that, and little paw emoji on his tweet and it says thanks to Texas One Fund or whatever. Like, so I think that there are other ways that the school will be able to help you profit off your name, image, and likeness. That'll be different from what the new, from what the new, kind of what I mean. That's like the thing that Lane Kiffin, everybody's they're just straight up just now calling it a salary cap.
Yeah. And that doesn't become official till maybe April. We'll have to see how it works.
Well, that's another thing that they keep complaining about.
Yeah.
They're just like, and what these coaches are saying is they're just going to throw this on us and they're going to expect us to be able to navigate it. And we navigate it and we do something that they didn't foresee as being a predictable consequence of it. They're going to get mad at us about it whenever they weren't even the ones that had the foresight to know that something like this was going to come up.
It's true.
It
is true. I can't even imagine. Jay, thank you for throwing the question in, but and you're right. You're not wrong. We do need to be thinking about there's an NIL part and there's a collective part and all of that. But until it's all sorted out and we know what teams really have to work with, it's going to be tough to get there. James threw this comment earlier. I wanted to get your all's thoughts, not to pick on a specific kid or anything, but he says only portal entrant I'm scared to see go is Darian Gillette. Gillette was one of the guys that went into the portal yesterday. Fellas, I would argue, I know I've heard you guys discuss this too. There's usually not a guy that leaves in the portal for Texas that feels like a, Walter Nolan, oh my God, I can't believe he's leaving kind of a guy. For you guys, anything on, Gillette specifically with that position, like linebacker moving forward, is that something, do you think they need to deal with in the portal?
I think they could use a linebacker for some depth. They've got two pretty good players in Ant Hill and Leonga Lafau. They got Bo Barnes coming in. You saw
Ty
played pretty well this year as a true freshman. So they've got some pretty good players, but they could certainly use a little bit more depth there. As far as Gillette, he was really an intriguing player coming out of high school. Really big kid who can run. I saw him running the 4x200 meters in high school. I think it was Texas relay or state track meter. Most of those guys are like half of his size, and he more than held his own. So he's a really good athlete, but just he had that injury his senior year of high school and just kind of never materialized for him at Texas after that.
Yeah. And James, thank you for the chat. Yeah, that is one of the names that was in there. All right. In terms of the portal stuff, timeline stuff as well, the 28th is when the portal closes. And to always be clear, that's to get into the portal. You can get out whenever you want. You can get in during these windows. So got till the 28th to get in. And from what I'm reading today, they have until the 22nd to take visits. So as we sit here on the 10th, there's a 12-day window coming where visits could actually happen to where guys can actually go to the schools. You'll see that where guys are entering the portal and they've already scheduled some visits.
But technically, they could wait until January to commit somewhere. They don't have to commit during that portal window, but yeah.
Exactly. Just got to get in. Got to get in the portal. Declare that you're in there during that time frame. Jamari back in. What's up, Jamari? 199, just as entertaining as Catch versus Alex on the 335. The Belichick coaching discussion.
Yeah.
And then the 335. We'll let the 335 discussion be like the opening act, and then Jason and Alex will discuss Bill.
Did I miss something? When did you and Catch get into it? Was that like a couple years ago? He's referencing.
It was at some point last year. It was before the Iowa State game where he said that the 335 is Sark's kryptonite, and I couldn't stand the narrative, so I remember. I do remember that.
Gotcha.
Jamari keeping receipts, my God.
Yeah, no kidding. He was a loyal viewer, at least, right? Yeah, so.
That is impressive. All right, let me pay a couple more bills here, and then we will wrap up. Shout out to a lot of our great partners, including Sinus and Snoring Specialists. Y'all have heard me talk about it. Make sure you're sleeping good, feeling good. If you snore like crazy, if you have sleep apnea, if you have sinus infections all the time, allergies have been bothering you your whole life. I moved to Austin and then I got allergies. I know I understand. It happened to me too, but I got rid of those allergies for good with these folks, Sinus and Snoring Specialist. That's your QR code. There's your number and website, 601-0303 or sinussnoringent.com. It is the very latest, the most cutting edge stuff when it comes to ear, nose, and throat. If you've ever heard of Inspire, it's a new product. It's been out for it's maybe a year or so, a couple years, maybe a little longer. When I heard it described to me, I didn't fully understand what it was, but apparently it's incredible and it works for a lot of folks. That could be you. Check them out. Sinus and Snoring Specialist. Feel clear, rested, and healthy. All right. We also want to remind everybody, Alex and Football with Friends is coming up. Alex Cody coming up at 6. I know Cody's been in the chat talking everything with the people today, and we certainly
Cody's getting salty in that chat. And Cody, I'm on Oscar's side, brother. We're gonna make a bet, Cody. If Belichick takes that North Carolina job, he's not winning a conference title.
Is that what Cody said?
Something to that. I'm getting caught up, but yeah, he's like, Cody's getting salty. I'm with Oscar on this.
Don't even do conference title. Just say playoff.
Yeah, we'll make a bet at some point.
I think in the ACC, you're going to have to win the conference title to make the playoff.
Yeah. Potentially, but you maybe could get it as a runner-up. I'm just giving you more. Make it more intriguing. You know.
Yeah, I know one thing, Anwar. I did not think the ACC.
Hey, how about this? How about this real quick? You guys go ahead and make that bet, and when you make that bet, the loser of the bet has to buy everybody on here lunch. What do you say about that?
That sounds familiar. Hold on.
A big barbecue lunch for everybody who's not even involved in the bet. What do you say?
Omar, that sounds vaguely familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, but the problem is with a bet like that, Alex, without the specific parameters, it never gets paid up. Because you have to say by what time.
Nobody would have accepted that bet, because why would Jason pay Chad, Anwar, and Alex out on top of Cody for losing the bet?
I feel like there was a thread on Orange Bloods, and someone had a video years ago of audio like a few years ago about it. So, but I don't want to revisit that.
I feel like we've got some.
If you guys make that bet, you're like Jason, and you lose. You it's not just Cody. You buy the lunch. It's me. It's Anwar, and it's Chad too. And the same thing goes for Cody.
I won't lose that bet.
I get a free lunch either way.
There's a lot of,
and I'm not going to bet anything.
Now, I just got to live long enough for someone to pay up. Back to my afternoon walk, I guess.
We got a lot of good side feelings going on right now. All right, we're about to head up on the 1 o'clock hour. Alex, I know you need to run. Correct? You got something you got to do?
Yeah, I got to get out.
All right, fair enough. Alex Dunlap, we appreciate the time. Alex, nice enough to join us today. All right, gentlemen. I have concocted a little buy or sell if y'all are good, but if y'all have to go, I understand. You've been nice enough to stay this long. What do we got schedule wise? Anwar, how you looking?
I mean, just work. I mean, it's fine. Like, we can go for a little bit longer.
Just a little bit. Just not too long. Just a couple minutes.
You got some buy or sell that you've concocted?
I got a little buy or sell for you. So we'll get a little buy or sell. While we're buy or selling, if you guys want to throw us a super chat, maybe like a $27 super chat could come in right while we're talking, and we could get to that. Also, I got an idea. If there is any bets to be paid off and it's food, let's do it at Hayes City Store. I got a picture for you guys. Travis sent me. If you've ever been to Hayes City, this is the Ice House at Hayes City. They've now walled off the back of it, just the back. So you still have the beautiful trees outside. You still have the atmosphere. But now on that road side, if you've ever been out there, this is the south side that they've covered. They've put more screens up. Get on out there if you have not been to Hayes City Store. The chicken fried steak and cream gravy is worth your time. I promise you. All right. Shout out to Hayes City. Okay. Let's just throw in a little, guys. I want to get your thoughts on a few things, and we'll start with Portal, since that's kind of where we started the show. We'll go Jason, then Anwar on all of them. Buy or sell number one. Biggest need for Texas in the portal, D-tackle. Buy or sell?
I'm selling. I wrote about this in my 3-2-1 that I posted just a little bit before the show. I seriously think, and Omar brought up a good point, like where do you find the scholarship numbers? But to me, it's kicker and punter, man. Shore up the special teams, and then D-tackle would be the next in line after that.
Anwar?
Yeah, I mean, I think D-tackle was probably a huge need when you consider everybody else. I don't think Jason's wrong. But quite honest with you, it's almost like 1A, 1B for me, quite honest with you. But my concern of the punter situation is having 4 scholarships locked up with two kickers, 2 punters. Like, just seems extreme to me at this point. To have like 4 scholarships locked up from 4 different guys and one guy specializing in this or that. So I will go D tackle only because when I look at it, you've got Alfred Collins should be gone. Lalea is going to be gone. You got Broughton, it will be gone. Savea obviously is entering the transfer portal. On a nose tackle position, Bill Norton's gone. You basically have Alex January, Aaron Bryant, Sadir Mitchell.
No Aaron Bryant.
Aaron Bryant.
Aaron Bryant's gone. So you got 2. So to me, you gotta beef up. I keep forgetting that Aaron Bryant's not here. You got to beef up that D tackle position and get some strength on the interior. So for me, it's a buy.
Okay. Early thoughts on the game, fellas. Buy or sell number 2. Texas wins and covers versus Clemson. I'm seeing 11, the number today, Jason.
Ooh, that's down.
I haven't even started processing that game or breaking it down. But it's in Austin, but this Texas offense scares me a little bit. I mean, we've seen it be able to bog down. So I think Texas wins, but right now, Chad, and I'm going to reserve the right to change my mind, obviously, when I start digging in a little deeper on this. I'm going to sell that they cover. I could see Clemson keeping it within 11. Maybe they get a backdoor cover or something. But I think Texas certainly will win the game, but I don't know that they cover the 11.
Yeah, I'm with him as Jason as well. I'm selling on that one. I just don't. Texas hasn't the offense you would want to be a little bit better when clicking on all cylinders. Now, look, I don't think the Clemson defense is as good as that Georgia defense is. No. So if you're looking for the ray of sunshine there, Texas has done well against every team pretty much that is that named Georgia. Like they've done fine. They're beating most teams by double digits. I think the only other one was Vanderbilt, who had been the only other single-digit game. So it'll be here. It'll be at home. Maybe guys will have a little bit chance to get healthy. So, there's a possibility when it's all said and done, Texas should be fine. But for right now, sell on that just out of just pure safety.
Gotcha. By the way, just a shout out for our man, Cody at orangebloods.com. Go check out the behind enemy lines stuff and find out what Clemson fans think of their own DC. Good grief. Not a popular guy going into this game. To Anwar's point about the defense, that's going to be an interesting part of the game to see if Clemson can contain that Texas offense. But I think I agree with both of you. I'm not sure if I'd quite go with a cover. Can Sark absolutely outcoach Dabo and playoff? I don't know on that part of it. All right, fellas, how about the other 3 games? Anwar, you go first here. The other 3 favorites win. Notre Dame, Penn State, and Ohio State all win by yourself.
Let me look at the bracket again. You have the bracket. Can you pull that up?
Yes, sir.
All right. Who did this? My God. Okay. Screenshot. I got it. Well, Notre Dame should definitely beat Indiana. Penn State versus SMU. And then Ohio State versus Tennessee. I don't know. I think Tennessee beats Ohio State. So that would be a sell for me. SMU is competitive. I'm not quite sure 100% sold on Penn State either. But I think Tennessee beats Ohio State. I'm not sold on that. So I would sell on that. Notre Dame is the biggest lock for me. I hope SMU wins, by the way. I would love for that to happen. But Tennessee, I think, beats Ohio State.
Gotcha. Jason? That's
interesting, Anwar, because I think if there's one team that's going to get the upset, I think it might be Indiana. I think they're good enough offensively.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going to have to listen, they're going to get lucky, but I think if they catch fire and get hot with their offense and that quarterback, they've got a shot. The tightest spread of all these games is 7.5. Tennessee, 7.5-point dogs in Indiana. Texas is 11 and Penn State's 9, I saw. So it'd be a pretty significant upset for any of them to lose. But I'm with Anwar, man. I think there's going to be one that's going to surprise us. I think there's going to be one. I think it might be Tennessee or Indiana that's able to pull off the upset.
Yeah, and I hadn't realized it till today, fellas, but in terms of the hosting teams, it is Texas and the boring helmets. My God, nothing on the helmet, only stickers on the helmet. Texas, thank God you brought a logo. Thank you for having a sticker on your helmet. Imagine that. All right, let's go here. Back to portal discussion. Anwar, you're first again. Buy or sell number 4. If Ryan Williams, if he enters the portal, you'd tell Texas to do whatever it took.
Hell yeah, that's a buy. I mean, what's your price? Like, what is your price? Like, if it's 2, if it's more, like, it is what it is. Like, yes, he's that good. He's that dynamic. He will check all the boxes, and you give Arch Manning that kind of weapon to deal with. Yes, if he decided that he was going to leave, 100%. That's a buy.
Jason?
Yeah, it's not my money to spend. Hell yeah, go for it.
2.5, 3, 3.5.
Yeah.
10.6 million. Go, Ryan.
Whatever it takes. And we'll finish this way. Jason, you're first on this one. Let's go to entertainment. Buy or sell number 5. You will see the Bob Dylan biopic starring Timothy Chalamet in the theater.
I don't know that I've ever seen Timothy Chalamet in a movie. I saw Bob Dylan in concert. Chad, you and I talked about this. He was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm still probably going to go see that movie in the theater.
All right, Anwar.
No. Zero interest. I don't even know if I know who this Timothy Chalamet person is.
I saw him on Saturday Night Live, Onward. That's the only reason I knew who he was when he was on Game Day.
He was the picker on Game Day this week. Come on.
Yeah. No, I saw him, and no, he looks young. I'm looking here. Okay, so he's been in Wonka. My kids have seen that. What is this? Dune, Call Me by Name.
Never seen any. Yeah.
The Little Woman. Like, no. He's Interstellar. No. What a Beautiful Boy. What is no? None of this looks like crap I would watch.
Just to be fair, Little Women, not a Little Woman, just Little Women. The movie. What role did he play? Just to clarify.
I don't know. No. I barely know what his little boy is. I have no interest in watching what he does. Congratulations to him. He's been able to live a successful life without ever being on my radar. I know it's hard for him, but congratulations, you've done it.
Jason, would you believe me if I told you that I structured things so that buy or sell would end on Anwar's reaction to that buy or sell? Would you believe that? Because that's what happened. Well done.
Little Women the one that we were talking about at the game the other night, the watch party? Is that Little Women?
I think Little Women did get brought up at the watch party.
You said because my daughter's trying to get me to watch it, and you watched it with your daughter.
Yes,
right?
my daughter. That's how. Yes, my daughter.
I got to tell this real quick, and I know we got to get off. So over the summer, Anwar, my middle daughter, who's 17, I had her watch all these man movies like John Wick and Braveheart and just Goodfellas, right? And she's like, "Okay, Dad, but you got to watch Little Women." I'm like, "Nope." And then so Chad informed me that he did watch Little Women with his teenage daughter. So Chad, you're a better dad than I am, because I told my daughter, like, not happening, no way. So
my God, I'm so glad I've had boys. I just can't.
Sometimes
all that. I gotta shut up because I'm gonna sound cavemanist and then I'm gonna get canceled and stuff. But I can tell you, I'm not watching little Timothy in anything. When he grows up and get some manly roles, that I'll totally be in those. But right now, he's got little girl roles for little girls, and I'm okay.
Yeah. Hey guys, I got one kid, and it's a girl, and I do not want her in a corner one day just mad plotting my death. So I got to be a good girl dad. I
will watch it at some point, but
I can't be afraid of those girl movies.
Do you guys do your tea parties before the movie or afterwards? And at what point do you go? And when you watch his movies, do your daughters use the clear coat on your nails when she paints them for you?
Always
No.
clear coat and never crusts on those sandwiches, Anwar. Always crusts off the sandwiches. I mean, we got to keep it. You got to keep it legit. Absolutely. All right. We thank you for jumping in today. Thank y'all for liking, subscribing, getting your notifications. Again, that transfer portal keeps rolling. Tia Savea into the portal as we are speaking today. So keep it on Orange Bloods Live. Also, check out orangebloods.com and all the great stuff there to keep up with it. Thursday nights in the War Room, all the great articles from these two guys. Anwar with the Sunday Pulpit. Jason's got the 321 article. Jason and I'll have the recruiting hour tomorrow at 10. Anwar's got Old Fashioned for you tomorrow morning at 9. And Alex was with us earlier. Alex and Cody, Football with Friends this evening at 6. Lots of stuff going on at Orange Bloods Live. And, oh, by the way, Texas and Clemson getting together on the 21st. There'll be plenty of preview of all of that.
By the way, I hear you guys telling me I'm uninformed. So you know what? You know what?
No.
You know what I'm gonna do?
It's terrible.
I'm gonna write it down for you, just for you guys. Since Texas has a bye week, I'm gonna watch Dune and The King. And when Catch calls out next week and I'm on the show, I will give you guys a movie review on Dune and The King. So because I don't want to be ignorant. So I will watch this. Is it Dune or Done? What the hell is this shit?
It is Dune. You were right there. You were right. That was a great old man question at the end.
I just want to make sure. I'm gonna watch Dune and The King, and let's see what happens. I'll come with Ketchup be out next week. I'll be back, and I'm gonna give you Unk's movie reviews. I'm gonna watch Little Timothy.
In terms of you assuming that Catch will be out next week, how dare you? First off, how dare you? How dare you assume such a thing?
Such a clock to it at this point.
And I was going to suggest Dune. I have not seen either of them, Anwar, but in terms of a manly movie, Dune is pretty serious. I mean, that's a serious, apocalyptic
there are two
world
Dunes
kind of movie.
Wait, how long are they both? How long are they?
Now that's the only thing you are committed to. It got to be 2.5, maybe 3.
Right, Dune 1 has got to motivate me to see Dune 2.
Right, double check on.
If Dune gets me, then I'm gonna go see Dune 2.
Yeah, and you know who the love interest is? He plays opposite Zendaya, I think, in both of those movies. I think she's at least in one of them. I don't know which one because I haven't seen them, but I think she's in that movie too.
That is.
You know who Zendaya is?
No.
But see, Anwar, there you go. Not only will you find out a little bit about Timothy Chalamet, trust me, you're going to like the fact that you found out who Zendaya was. I promise.
Yeah, I'm like, this is real cringy because she's like half my age, probably.
I was gonna say, you sound like little kids. Like, what were y'all talking about? No, I'm a grown ass man. I don't know who the little girl is.
Did you say?
Well, I know who she is anyway. But I watched her in that movie where like she's a tennis protege and like, whoa,
the woman is 28 years old. Okay, oh yeah, come on.
How old was she when she got on the scene?
Probably a teenager or something. I think she's one of these Disney.
Less than 28.
Probably one of these Disney kids or something. I don't know.
Just south of 28, Anwar.
She's in the Spider-Man movies. Hey, she's the Spider-Man love interest in the new Spider-Man movies. But this tennis movie, she's prancing around wearing next to nothing. And Zendaya.
Damn. Some people like some Zendaya. You get to see some of that, Anwar.
I will check it out. I'm looking on her Instagram right now.
There you go. And the chat appreciates your work. The chat appreciates your hard work.
Sheena Zendaya, is that it?
She just has one name.
Zendaya. Like a one name.
I'm looking at some other one. I'm sorry, I'm in another world. So whoever this one is.
Anwar's like, I don't know who you're talking about.
How do you talk about this one? Look good on my screen. All right, I'll go see your little kids' movies this week, and I'll let you. All right,
Anwar is going to go find out about Timothy Chalamet. Y'all have a good Tuesday, and Football with Friends, remember, comes up at 6 p.m. Check it all out with Orange Bloods Live and orangebloods.com. Fellas, I appreciate you rearranging the schedule today. We appreciate all of you for jumping in. Y'all take care. We will talk to you very soon on Orange Bloods Live. See ya.